Hey, good morning, everyone. This is my final day in an undisclosed location before I go home and bring the Cohn Zone back to the Bay Area. Let's talk Niners. I want to talk Jimmy G today. A lot of times we come on this show, we talk Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold, Deshaun Watson, the quarterback of the day. But today, the quarterback of the day is Jimmy G. I'm going to take your questions in a minute. If you want to call in, the link is in the chat room. The link is in the description. One question per person. I'm going to go for about an hour and a half today. I want to take about 20 calls. But first, before I take your calls, and you're welcome to call in right now, I want to explain the context of the day, what's happening with Jimmy G. It seems to me that the Niners are trying to control the narrative about this guy. They understand that fans are dying to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. They see it on Twitter. He's the least popular player on the team right now, or one of them. And they're trying to change that. They're trying to call, I think, on their friends. They're trying to get a little help from their friends. And who are their friends? Peter King, Rich Eisen, Tim Kawakami, the heavy hitters. Unfortunately, we control the narrative in 2021, not the baby boomers. It's the dreamers of the dreams, you and I. But they don't know that yet. Here's what they're trying to do. So what I heard from Peter King, I'm going to read what he said, and I'm going to tell you my interpretation. He goes on Rich Eisen and says, you have to logically look at Jimmy Garoppolo and say, unless there's a great offer or a great something out there, we're going to stick with Garoppolo, and he's going to be really good, and we're going to be happy with it. It will be fine. But you can't ignore the injuries. You just can't. So I think that if a golden opportunity came up, they'd think about it. But I kind of agree with you, Rich. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the quarterback of the Niners on opening day. This made me chuckle and laugh. I was like, ha, 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 ha. So here's my interpretation of this extremely interesting statement by King, who is the most plugged in media member in the world with the Niners. Remember, they invited him into their war room in 2017 during the draft so he could document the entire thing. It was one of the worst drafts in franchise history. Probably they wish they hadn't done that, but that's how they look at King, the number one guy. So here's my take. One, Garoppolo is not really good, as Peter King said, nor will the Niners be, quote unquote, happy with it if he returns, as Peter King said. No, not Kyle Shanahan, at least, because that man cannot hide his contempt for Garoppolo. Shanahan is stuck with him, too. Garoppolo has no trade market because he's not young, mobile, durable, cost-effective, or particularly good at anything. He's a system quarterback who makes way too much money and gets injured a lot, and the whole league knows it. There never was going to be a quote-unquote great offer for him this offseason. Teams probably expect the 49ers to cut him. 3, the 49ers don't want to cut Garoppolo because releasing him would be an admission that signing him to a 5-year, $137.5 million extension just after 5 starts in 2017 was a huge mistake. And the 49ers rarely, if ever, admit to making big mistakes. 4, the 49ers will keep Garoppolo for 1 more year to save face, even though keeping him probably will cost them Trent Williams or Jason Verrett in free agency. The 49ers most likely can't afford to keep those two and Garoppolo, which is too bad for them, because both of those players are better than Jimmy G. 5, the 49ers would rather run it back with Garoppolo and potentially have another losing season in which he gets injured than be bold, cut him, and sign someone cheaper and better, such as Ryan Fitzpatrick. I really hope my interpretation is wrong, because it would be such a shame for them to lose good players just to keep Jimmy G. But I'm usually not wrong, though. So that's what you need to know. That's where the Niners stand. They're trying to convince themselves and their media brethren, their pals, that bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo not only is their only available move, but it's the smart move. But the thing is, we all know it's not the smart move. It is the cop-out move. The bold move would be to cut him, sign someone just as good for $20 million cheaper, and sign better players. So that's where I stand. That's where the Niners stand. You're going to be hearing a lot of in defense of Jimmy Garoppolo the next few days. Okay, not from me, though. Who's first? Thrax? Let's see what's up. What's going on, Thrax?
Yo, what's up, Grant? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So the thing about the 49ers is they really don't need a great quarterback to win. Jimmy Garoppolo is just incompetent and mediocre.
And that's the whole thing with having an offensive guy like Kyle Shanahan. You're not supposed to necessarily need the greatest quarterback of all time, right? Just a good quarterback.
Exactly. And what troubles me is that, like, Deshaun Watson he's great. He would be great on the 49ers, but we really don't need him. I think that it's honestly, like, it would be a waste of draft picks and just to trade the players, it's not worth it because you don't need an Aaron Rodgers. You don't need a Deshaun Watson. It's nice, but you don't need them. You really don't. Someone like Kyle Trask or someone that's like not a great quarterback, but someone that's just competent, that has accuracy and could just throw the ball well is someone that you can have, win you games.
Well, from Kyle Shanahan's perspective, that guy is and always was Kirk Cousins. And it's the same philosophy. Like, I don't need the greatest quarterback of all time. I need a quarterback who can execute my system. But Kirk Cousins has become a very expensive player in the NFL.
Right.
So is Jimmy Garoppolo. I think what Kyle needs to realize is he should be able to go cheap at the position and get average to good play for way below market value. He should be able to do that.
100%.
Yeah. So bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo, it sounds like the safe play, but last year it cost you DeForest Buckner. You couldn't afford both of them. Mm-hmm. This year it could cost you Jason Verrett or Trent Williams. How many people are going to be collateral damage of Jimmy Garoppolo's place on the roster? Real quick, Mike Schumann, who you guys may remember, he was on the original Super Bowl team. He was an analyst in the Bay for a while. Great guy. Says that, you can't trade for Deshaun Watson because the Niners have a Super Bowl window right now, and you'd have to dismantle the team to get Watson. It's a good point.
Yeah. So, again, I don't think you need the greatest quarterback on the 49ers to win a Super Bowl. You just need someone that's competent and maybe a little bit mobile that can survive our O-line. And if the 49ers want to win, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to admit their mistake about Jimmy Garoppolo. That's ultimately what they need to do to succeed and stop hiding it and making excuses. So that's my opinion on it. Yeah,
I mean, it's fine. You thought it was going to work out. It didn't work out. The salary cap went down. Pandemic hit. Move on.
You just got to admit it. Move on.
Just admit it. Move on. He's not the worst quarterback in the world, but he's way too expensive, and he's not on the field enough. Just get Ryan Fitzpatrick or a rookie. Now, I don't know. Mike Schumann feels like if you cut Jimmy Garoppolo, you're changing too much of a championship contender. I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to lose Trent Williams or Jason Verrett just to keep that scrub.
That's what I'm saying. He's not worth it. He's honestly, he's hurting the team. He's not helping it whatsoever.
Yeah.
If you can't admit the mistake as a coach or a GM, then honestly, why are you there?
Agree. Hey,
it's your job to win.
I agree. And you have to be faithful to do what's in the best interest of the organization. Not what's in the best interest of your resume.
100%. I agree.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Yo. Yusuf, what's up? Did I pronounce your name right? Joseph?
Yeah, you pronounced it right.
How you doing?
How are you, Grant?
Good. How are you?
My question for you is, do you think the Kyle have a too niche of system?
Ask it again. Does Kyle have what?
Do you think Kyle have a too niche of a system? Like, have a too niche of a system?
Too like niche of a system?
He likes the running back. Yeah.
Like he only likes the small. He only likes the small running backs. Yeah, he's okay. You're asking, is he too niche of a system? I'm gonna put it another way. Is he too married to like a specific vision of offensive football? The small, light offensive linemen, the small, fast running backs, the wide receivers who are also running backs, the quarterbacks who are immobile and not particularly athletic. I really do believe that Kyle is too into a system. I think the best coaches in sports, regardless of sport, are all never system coaches. They always can change and adapt based on the players they have. And
like
Kyle seems to be the other kind.
Like this will result like in the Deebo Samuel, like asking for too much money. Because he's the only one that fits this system.
Right. On another team, Deebo Samuel might be a good wide receiver. On the Niners, he's the key to their offense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's more than just a wide receiver. He's everything. Exactly. So what's his value more here than somewhere else? He's irreplaceable. It's very interesting.
And you don't like find players like Deebo and Ayuk every draft every year.
Right. Well, I mean, I think Kittle's an example of that too. The Niners had to pay Kittle like a wide receiver because he's so important to their team. Yeah. They can't. Their running game really doesn't work without him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very interesting. Yeah, there is something. His system is, I don't know if the word is niche, but it's so specific. You have to have this kind of offensive lineman. You have to have this kind of running back. And it means you miss out on a lot of good players and you have the same kind of system and you don't adapt. It's a good point.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, 49ers fan.
Hey, Grant. So
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, man.
So, do you think who is better? Do you think Carson Wentz or Jimmy G?
Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
Carson Wentz.
and my brother's an Eagles fan, so I watched a lot of Carson Wentz last year, and I think part of the reason why he was so bad last year was horrible system.
Yeah, not just a horrible system, horrible offensive line, horrible skill position players, and a pretty bad system.
I mean, some of it was his fault. Like when
Yes.
he would miss wide open reads and like sometimes he would just crumble in the pocket. But Jimmy G does that too. So
I saw Carson Wentz in person at Levi's Stadium, and he single-handedly beat the 49ers. He was the best athlete on the field. There's no way Jimmy Garoppolo could have done what Carson Wentz did if he were on the Eagles in that game.
That was probably maybe one of 2 games that he was really good.
Yes.
And also he's just, I don't know, because I don't think we'll get him because first thing, isn't he worth more than Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, he's extremely expensive. He's so expensive, man. So you don't save any money on that one. And he's got his own problems. He's not a very popular player in the locker room with coaches. He seems aloof. He has his own injury history. If they were to cut him, I would be interested. But to trade for that contract, we talked about it yesterday. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I don't know. I think the pros and cons of Carson Wentz, you would be getting a more mobile quarterback, but he's he's pretty injury prone actually. He's had back issues, ACL issues, I think even hand issues, shoulder issues. So and again, like who's to say that, like same with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he might not actually that's why I think we really need to retool our offensive line because
that's the whole thing.
Those guys will get destroyed behind this offensive line.
I think it's fair to say that the only quarterback who might be able to survive behind this offensive line is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he does for a living. And everyone else is like, okay, well, good luck.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm like, Jimmy Garoppolo, like, how are we supposed to, like, we need Jason Verrett, and Trent Williams if we lose him, our offensive line stinks. So, yeah, I don't know. I think, Here's what the Niners are going to tell themselves real quick. They're going to be like, well, in 2019, we had no Joe Staley, no Trent Williams, and we won 8 games with Justin School at left tackle. They're going to tell themselves some stupid stuff like that and get themselves in the same predicament next season they were in last season. I guarantee it. Wait, so do you think they'll actually keep Jimmy Garoppolo? I think they will. I think they're scared to get rid of him. So that means Jason Verrett's going to go. Goodbye, Jason. Dang it. But do you think we'll actually? There's still time though. We can try to change their minds. Do you think we'll actually retool the cornerback position then? Do you think we'll draft one in the 12th pick? Yes. Yeah, okay. And maybe that's the right move. I mean, who knows? Jason Verrett could sign a 3-year deal and get hurt in training camp and never play again. That's kind of true. I mean, he could just have one good season with the Niners like last year. And I mean, a lot of people have done that. True. And, so we'll see what happens. Jason, the guy for the Patriots in the Super Bowl who made that like off the foot catch, Butler. No, what's his name? I forget. Yeah, well, anyways, he had one good season. Then he went to other teams, and he just absolutely was horrible. So, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Malcolm Butler. Yeah, exactly. Malcolm Butler. You got to be careful with these corners, especially when they get up around 30 years old. That being said, at the right price, I would definitely bring back Jason Verrett. He is a better player than Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes. He's better. Yes. Yep. All right, 49er fan. Thanks for coming on. Bye. Krish. Hey, Krish, you around? You're muted if you are.
Grant, what's up?
What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Hey, good. So suppose we cut Jimmy Garoppolo.
Sure.
And then, do you think we're making the same mistake with D Ford with Jason Verrett?
No. Here's the difference between D Ford and Jason Verrett. Niners traded for D Ford. They gave up a second-round pick. Then They gave him a 5-year, I want to say $85 million contract. They traded for him, and then they gave him an extension like he was healthy. With Jason Verrett, they got him off the scrap heap, and now they would give him like a modest, maybe a 2-year or 3-year deal worth $20-30 million. So it wouldn't be as big of a commitment. But it'd be a similar player. I mean, a similar circumstance, like you're taking a risk on a guy with injuries. So I don't know. Are you nervous about Jason Verrett? Would you leave him alone?
Say that again?
Would you re-sign Jason Verrett, or would his injury history drive you elsewhere? What do you think about with him?
I would sign him to a 2-year deal if we cut Jimmy, and if he had enough money. But yeah,
give him a 2-year deal. Protect yourself. Give him and the way I think you could do it with Jason Verrett is a lot of incentives being based on playing time. If you play 16 games, here's an extra $500,000. If you make the Pro Bowl, here's an extra $500,000. Stuff like that.
Yeah. And then one more question.
Okay.
Suppose we trade down in the draft like 4 or 5 spots.
Mm-hmm.
And we get like a 4th or 3rd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good if we draft a corner in round 1, like a guy like J.C. Horn or Farley?
Yes.
And then we draft the center or guard in round 2.
Yes, absolutely. Take care of the 2 weaknesses as soon as possible. There's nothing wrong with taking a corner in round 1. The Niners haven't done it since before you were born. I don't know how old you are, but I know it's before you were born. So yeah, they should do it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Grant, I'm a big fan of you. Thanks for letting me on the
appreciate
show.
it. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Philly.
Oh, nice. How old are you?
I'm 12, but I was born in Santa Clara.
Hey, nice, man. Well, thanks. Have a great day in Philly, man.
You too, thanks.
Krish, peace, man. Hello? How do I pronounce your name?
Sunil.
Okay, what's up, Sunil? How you doing, Sunil? Of course, it's phonetic. I can do that. Sunil, what's up? It's a good name.
I'm
too.
great.
I like it.
Way
What's
to
up?
be a champ and get away to work on Valentine's Day, my guy.
I don't know how I'm pulling this off, but I got to be done by 11. So let's try to make this happen.
All right, no worries. So I feel like a lot of people are down on the San Fran team. I'm not as down because I feel like with injuries and just the way that we're able to develop people, we'll be fine. We just need a healthy quarterback. But what my question is this year we have a lot of people that left our team in the coaching and personnel departments. I was wondering, 49ers, other than the 2017 year, we've been pretty good with drafting people and drafting productive players. Is there anybody that we're not thinking about that we might be able to trade for either this year's picks or future round picks that might that we might be able to finesse the Jets or the Washington football team with to help us down the line, keep the window open, that they might be high on, that we could let go of, maybe an Armstead or even guys depth to get some future that could help us.
Let's just focus on the Jets. How can the Niners finesse the Jets? First thing I was thinking of was Bosa, but you could do better. You said Armstead. Ooh, I like that because maybe Robert Saleh really loves Eric Armstead. Maybe Robert Saleh was the one who campaigned for the Niners to keep Armstead over Buckner. Maybe that was his idea. I don't know. It seems like the coaches have a lot of input on personnel decisions on the Niners. So if that's the case, maybe you call them up and say, hey, could we have your second first-round pick for Eric Armstead? What do you say, Robert? Maybe you get him. Maybe Robert feels like Eric Armstead is the kind of guy he needs to institute his system or his culture. What do you think? Is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Even like depth pieces, guys down the maybe like a Dre Greenlaw or people like that might get like a future second or a future.
What about Fred Warner?
Picks.
What about Fred Warner? Okay, let's talk about Fred Warner real quick,
man,
because he's really good. He's really, really good, right? But we're trying to talk we're looking for players that Saleh likes more than the Niners. And Fred Warner's great, but Robert Saleh talks about him like he's the greatest middle linebacker of all time, the Peyton Manning of middle linebackers. Well, if that's the case, then how many first-round picks is Fred Warner worth to the Jets? 2? Is it worth 2 first-round picks? I'm just saying. If you're trying to fleece a team, you got to give them something they want. Maybe they want someone like that. But Armstead, Greenlaw, Bosa, Warner, those are his guys. Maybe you could get multiple first-round picks. It's interesting. I see a lot of people in the comment section being like, "No, don't do it." Only if Salah's willing to trade 2-3 first-round picks. You're trying to fleece him. That's the whole idea.
Right.
So,
and I was wondering
like
also with DeMeco Ryans being the new defensive coordinator, do you feel like his relationship with Watt might be able to pull him over to the Niners?
Why not? Connection to J.J. Watt, use it. Seems to me, all of a sudden, you want to choose. Like, do we want Trent Williams or J.J. Watt? Why would you necessarily choose Trent Williams over J.J. Watt? At least discuss it, because Watt's probably cheaper. They play different positions. You need both of them. You need an end. You need a tackle. I don't know. I think you would probably want to work that, especially if he's considering going to the Packers and the Niners see themselves as a real contender. Well, you got to go through Green Bay next season. Why you just want to let him go to Green Bay? So, yeah, try to work that. See if DeMeco Ryans can do something. Because if he can get J.J. Watt here, then it was all worth promoting DeMeco Ryans and not even interviewing anyone else. It'd be worth it. I'm into the J.J. Watt thing. A lot of people are like, no, it won't work. He doesn't fit this. Whatever. He's a good player. Why not? He's better than Eric Armstead. It'd be like getting DeForest Buckner back.
Yeah, and I think that his leadership, and then, we're losing leadership with Sherman probably, and obviously with Salah being gone. But with J.J. Watt already being a big DeMeco fan, that could bring that whole camaraderie thing back and, give us another person that we know could be a future Hall of Famer type of a player on a squad.
If I were Kyle Shanahan, I would have already told DeMeco, you need to call him. You need to do tell me what you can do. Work your magic. Don't call me back until you get J.J. Watt in the building. Let's go take him out to Morton's. Come on, DeMeco. That's why I hired you. Come on, man. I like this. Good stuff, Sunil.
Take care.
Thanks for coming on. All right, Ion.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So I was thinking of this is my trade package for Watson.
Okay.
Nick Bosa.
Okay.
Fred Warner.
Okay.
Are untouchable.
Okay. That was a nice little curveball.
They should not be traded at all.
Okay.
Nick Bosa as a rookie is doing stuff that we haven't seen before.
Fair.
In
Okay.
such
So
a
what's your
long time.
package?
So what I'm saying is, we can give at least four first round picks for Deshaun Watson.
4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Okay.
Or you can put 3 first round picks and some second, third later for Dre Greenlaw.
Okay, hold on. Remember, the Dolphins want him too, and he likes the Dolphins. And the Dolphins are reportedly willing to offer 2 first-round picks this year, a first-round pick next year, and Tua. And honestly, that may not be enough, because if it were enough, you'd think maybe the Texans would have said yes to that by now. So that's basically 3 firsts and a first last year, who's a quarterback. And that's not getting it done. So I don't know if offering first 3 years from now, 4 years from now can compete. That's why I think people keep coming back to players with the Niners. I don't think they can compete with the draft picks of Miami, but they have these young players on rookie deals that Miami doesn't have. And if you're willing to part with Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk or Fred Warner or Nick Bosa, you might be able to beat Miami's package. Otherwise, I think you're not going to. And there's something to be said for not trading everything away. If you gut the defense to bring in Deshaun Watson, what makes the Niners different than the Raiders or the Texans, right?
Yeah.
Well, I like your creativity, but you see what I'm saying, right? It's getting tricky if the Dolphins are that interested.
Yeah, I was also going to say that it seems unrealistic now, trading for Deshaun Watson.
I think that's why we're starting to hear Peter King and Tim Kawakami say, hey, let's give Jimmy Garoppolo another shot, because he's coming back.
Yeah. He showed what he can do. He tore his ACL. Season back, like fully healthy. He brought us to a Super Bowl. One pass away.
It's true. It's true. But I got one last thing. Tell me if you agree. The way that Peter King is laying it out, he's going to be a starter week 1. Maybe the Niners, maybe this Deshaun Watson drama drags on into the season, and there is a mid-season trade that happens with Watson, and the Niners are involved in that. It's possible this Watson thing drags out forever and ever and ever, and the Niners hang on to Jimmy until the Texans decide what they want to do there. So think about that. Maybe a trade happens 4 weeks into the season after Deshaun Watson's tired of losing money or something like that. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Have a good one. What's up, Varun? How you doing?
Hi, how are you, Grant?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, doing good.
Great.
Okay.
Great. What's on your mind?
So I want to discuss a couple of things.
Sure.
I mean, not entirely related to 49ers, but
Okay.
Since we are talking about quarterbacks a lot, something generic to quarterbacks, especially style of quarterback play.
Okay.
Now, these days, the entire NFL world is really obsessed with the mobile or dual threat quarterbacks, right? But the one thing I have a kind of a concern is how durable are they? Right?
Good question. Yep.
So this is what I think. So basically, let's take. So I'm really afraid that Patrick Mahomes is just one serious injury away from ruining his career.
Yes.
Right.
And he was like flirting with it in the playoffs, the toe, all his. Yep.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm not expert on, play calls in a game, but as far as I understand, during that Browns game, the play Mahomes got the concussion, it's almost a running back play.
Yes.
He acted as a running back.
Yes.
And that tackle was, it wasn't a cheap shot.
Right.
There was no malicious intent. It was just a regular tackle, but he got injured, and basically, even I think Colin Cowherd calling NFL to like postpone the championship game until Mahomes.
That's right. And if you remember, when the Niners had Colin Kaepernick, they let him run around, and then in 2014, just before they gave him the contract, or just after they gave him the contract, I forget. But they tried to keep him in the pocket and turn him into a pocket quarterback because they understood there's no longevity for you playing like this. And with all the money we're giving you, it's too much of an investment to risk it. So you need to actually play the position the way, everyone else does. That's what happens.
Yes. So the thing is, like, so if I'm Andy Reid or whoever from the coaching staff in the Chiefs, I would say, off season to Mahomes, okay, look, you are worth $500 million. You are the most valued sports person in the entire planet Earth. Right. Well,
yes.
Basically, even the soccer players doesn't have that track
that much. Yes.
Right. So I want you to play, as you said, the conventional quarterback.
Yes.
Because even then, you are much better quarterback than Matthew Stafford.
Everyone else. Yes.
Whoever it is, you can still be the MVP.
Right.
And then again, if you see how Josh Allen played during the championship game, again, he was just risking himself.
Yes.
He was going to full contact. But if you take a player like Aaron Rodgers, he does the scrambling, but he always makes sure that he protects himself.
Also, the two best examples of this of all time are Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Exactly.
Just the best. They never got hurt. Brady got hurt once. They always protect, and they couldn't move at all. They protected themselves, and that's what you really want. You do.
Yes.
And it's really interesting how all the Niner fans thinking like the next evolution of this offense is a mobile quarterback who can protect himself. No, what you need is an offensive line to protect the quarterback. If you ask the quarterback to protect himself, sooner or later he's going to get hurt. Look at Russell Wilson. He hasn't gotten hurt yet, but he wants to leave Seattle because it's like, I don't want to do this. I'd like what Brady has. I would like protection, please.
Yes. Otherwise, we will end up with a Nick Mullens situation. Guy gets all the blame plus getting injured, getting beaten up and injured.
Yes. And for Niner fans, it's really no one's emotionally attached to Nick Mullens. So when he gets hurt, everyone's like, new quarterback. But if it's the guy you like, say it's Matthew Stafford or whoever, Mac Jones, and then he gets hurt, now you're upset. You're emotionally mindset at the organization, the offensive line, everyone, as you should have been last year.
Yes.
Right? Because
Yes,
Nick Mullins was expendable, but the next guy's not going to be.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's I got to take the next call, man. But this was really, really good. Thank you so much. Have a good one, man.
Okay.
Take care. Sorry, I'm doing this. I got to hold you guys to one question each. I sorry about that. Eric, you are up. What's up, Eric? Got to unmute yourself. Think about it. I'll come back to you, Eric. Jim.
Hey, Grant, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Lifelong 49er fan calling in from Houston today.
Okay. You sound a little far off, but I can hear you.
Well, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, the big issue to me with looking at Jimmy G is he always looks rusty to me. I've noticed over watching him over the couple of years, he has a tendency to throw behind and high his receivers. I've never heard anybody really address his practice habits with regards to how much time he puts into working with receivers. But he always looks like a guy who just hasn't been working with those guys very much because he just doesn't seem to be in sync with them. It seems to me that if the 49ers had a quarterback, and I don't think they have to go bankrupt to go get Deshaun Watson, but if they just had a quarterback that could hit an open receiver, like I thought Matthew Stafford would be the answer, that would be the solution.
Yeah, look, what I see from Jimmy Garoppolo is when he throws, he often doesn't set his feet. It's often all upper body. It's often all arm, which leads to inaccuracy. Everything about him is he doesn't really pay attention to detail. He's a little sloppy. And I think his attitude is, well, I went 5-0 when I came here and I didn't know the offense. Maybe I don't need to be as anal about the details as you, Kyle. Maybe I can go out and wing it and play the way I want to play and win. And Kyle, I think his attitude for years has been, you can't. You might have success for a little bit playing like that, but it's going to catch up to you. And I think you're seeing it. I think that's correct. And Jimmy Garoppolo is just a quarterback who got validated and paid, set for life after 5 starts. And when you do that, you just, how does a young man hold on to the incentive to improve when the entire organization has said, you're our franchise guy, you got it right now? Why would you pay attention to the details and care about setting your feet and doing things by the book when you've been rewarded after just a glimpse and a glimmer of something? So, yeah, I think that's who Jimmy Garoppolo is. He's always going to be slightly sloppy, kind of a tease. And if they could get someone who takes their craft more seriously, they should do that, Jim.
Well, thank you, Grant.
Thanks for coming on. Hayden. What's up, Hayden? How are you doing?
Good.
What's on your mind?
Okay, so these people saying Russell Wilson, Niners. I mean, if it was Bill O'Brien running the Seahawks, maybe, but we're in the same conference. That's just not gonna pan out.
Maybe not, but that's not my decision. Or that's not the Niners' decision. They have to put the pressure on the Seahawks. If that guy's available, you can't just sit there in Santa Clara and be like, well, they'll probably say no. That's like being you're a little young, but that's like going to the bar and like seeing the girl there and being like, well, she's probably going to say no. Like, well, you don't know. Why don't you go say hello, man? Why don't you believe in yourself? You know what I mean?
At least try, but it's probably not going to work out. 99%.
Yeah, at least try though.
Yeah.
Because I think he's cheaper than Deshaun Watson. I think everyone's like, make a run for Deshaun Watson. That may never happen. Houston doesn't seem really eager to trade him. I think Seattle is looking at it like, maybe we should trade Russell Wilson. Maybe he's the problem. Maybe we could win we won a Super Bowl with a young quarterback who is 23 making no money. Maybe we should trade. You see what I'm saying? I think they're almost getting there. Whereas Houston's like, hey, if we lose Deshaun Watson, we're all going to get fired. We're all going to get fired and we're going to lose. So, I mean, that's the only reason I think it's attainable, but I don't know.
Yeah, and the Niners need to they can't just make a decision on a quarterback if they play good for 3 or 5 games, because it's like
they did the same thing with Colin Kaepernick.
Let Jimmy play a full season and then see what he could do. I understand last year He had all the pieces around. But then when everyone gets injured and he gets injured, what happens? It's just like we bring in the backups.
Hey, Hayden, he's coming back. You'll see him next year. Don't worry, man. He's coming. He's coming back. You excited?
No.
John Lynch, if you're watching, that's your fan base right there. He's not excited.
Josh Rosen is going to probably come in because Jimmy's going to get hurt again. So, yay.
Yay, Josh Rosen. Hayden, thanks for coming on, man.
All right.
Have a good one. Hey, what's up?
How are you? How are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Good, good. One question, and then if we have time, you can do the follow-up. But have the 49ers become the most conservative team in their division? And I'll tell you why.
Oh, wow. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yes, absolutely. Hold on real quick. The Seahawks made a very aggressive trade for Jamal Adams. Very aggressive. The Rams, I mean, that goes without saying. And the Cardinals drafted Kyler Murray when they already had a quarterback they'd taken in the first round the year before that, and made a big aggressive offer for DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, absolutely they are.
Correct.
Paul, you got to follow it? Well, keep going. Keep going. We got time.
Yeah, I think the reasoning behind that is I think that they have kind of been afraid to make the big move and it not work out because I think in their mind, at worst, they're 8-8.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a really big hesitancy to move off that because if you go really aggressive, you can fall flat on your face. And
yeah, if you go really aggressive, you kind of like accelerate the process of your eventual firing if it doesn't work out. It's like you don't have to cut Jimmy yet. But if you do cut Jimmy and you move on to the next one, then that's your last move. You're out of moves.
Correct.
You can always wait on that move, right? It's like, okay, we'll cut Jimmy next year. That'll give us another year after that, right? So it seems to me like the Niners make big aggressive moves when things get dicey. They didn't do it the first 2 years, but going into 2019, when they hadn't had a winning season, they went very aggressive in a few things. D Ford, Quan Alexander. Those were very aggressive moves, expensive moves. The Niners aren't there yet. They've had one losing season. They were in the Super Bowl a year ago. I think if they go 6-10 again next year, and they still all have jobs, which they should, then next year you would see them again, a bunch of aggressive win now moves to keep themselves all employed. Don't you think? Don't you think?
I completely agree. And this Super Bowl basically validated the way they want to play. They want to make sure that they've got all their pieces in place. They don't need to have a mobile quarterback. They can have a good team around an average quarterback, go to the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl. That buys Kyle and John, another 4 or 5 more years of credibility?
Another lifetime contract? Yes. What I think people need to realize is that Kyle and John aren't going to make wholesale changes with their roster building philosophies because of one losing season that they're going to write off as an injury thing, right? They're not going to. They're going to say, let's stick with what we've been doing. We got to the Super Bowl. It worked for us. Yeah, the Rams do it their way, but they haven't won a Super Bowl. I mean, who's to say their way's any better than ours? We have the same results, except they win more during the regular season, whatever.
That's the other piece. They've got nice stadiums that, you're going to make a lot of money if you're in the playoffs versus not in the playoffs. And you've got owners, especially the Niners.
True. They want that revenue.
Who's a little, reactive than he is proactive sometimes. And, he's got competition now right across, before he did not in Oakland leaving. Now he's got a couple more teams in the area, right? So you've kind of, if he does well, if the Niners do well, they really don't have any competition anymore. They don't.
He went from having the best stadium in the California, Nevada area to the worst stadium in about 5 years.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I hear it's not as nice as everyone makes it out to be.
It's generic is the word I would say. Like if you're playing Madden and you had create a franchise and they're like, would you like Stadium A or Stadium B? It's Stadium B. Stadium B. It's cool. It's fine. It's all right. But it's got no personality. And it's in Santa Clara, which also has no personality. No offense if you're from Santa Clara. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. Have a great day.
No.
Thank you. Have a good one, man. Of course. Hey, what's up, You're muted. You're muted. Oh, I got to come back to you then. What's up?
Hey, man.
Hey, good to see you again.
Yeah.
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How's the vacation going?
Pretty good. My wife gave me. We're having a really good time, and I'll be done here in an hour. And we'll go out and do something. It's a nice day where I'm not gonna say where I am. I'm not trying to get John Lennon. How you doing?
I'm good. So we got like a lot of cornerbacks going into free agency, right?
Yep.
So we've been talking about draft a corner, this and that, re-sign Verrett, but why is no one talking about like the void in the slot in our defense when K1 Williams is gonna probably walk because he's too expensive?
That's a good question. So what is the plan at nickel? K1 Williams going to leave probably because he's too expensive, and Jimmy Garoppolo is going to take the money. Jamar Taylor tore his ACL. DJ Reed's on the Seahawks. What is the plan there? I mean, if the Niners want to run the same defense that Robert Saleh was running, you need a weapon there. But I don't know if they have this new senior defensive guy, James Betcher. What's his philosophy? How does he use nickelback? I don't even know, man. But it seems to me they need to at least they need a starting outside corner next to Verrett. They need a nickel. They need a strong safety. Now they could Mosley. Mosley could bring back Mosley. Maybe he's a nickel back, but it's kind of like a super backup, not necessarily a starting caliber. I think that's not the best option to start Mosley at the nickel. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know about So we got this guy Parnell Motley that was really good on the Bucks practice squad last year.
That's right.
I'm not sure I don't know how good he is, but I guess he's one of our options since we let DJ Reed go.
I bet they draft a guy in round 5 just where they drafted DJ Reed 2-3 years ago. I bet they do that.
Yeah. And do you think they'll let Tarvarius Moore have the starting spot at safety, or do you think they'll bring in competition?
I think they'll bring in competition. I wouldn't even rule out re-signing Jaquiski Tart, because I think if the cap had gone up and there had been no pandemic, there'd be a market for Tart. I think a lot of teams would look at him as a quality starting safety that they would give $7-8 million a year to. But now a late guy in his late 20s who misses roughly 6, 8, 10 games a year, what's the market for that? I mean, those to me are the players that are going to get squeezed out in the open market because the cap's going down. And he might say, if all I'm going to get is a 1-year deal, maybe I'll stay on the team that I know, that knows me. I can maintain my high value being an embedded starter on a top 5 defense. Maybe that's the best move for me. Maybe he could come back for a 1-year deal, $3 million. I think that Tart's interesting. It's not like he's the kind of guy who wants to move to Miami, he's like a fisher. He likes to spend time in Utah. He may just want, the Niners to say, we want you, not here's all the money in the world. Tart's interesting, but they're going to need to bring some competition. But I think he's a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah. So you're saying like a 1-year deal and then he can break the bank next year.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of these older vets coming off an injury or something like that, 1-year deal, try to hit free agency again next year when the cap goes back up.
Yeah. And I got like a hypothetical for you. So
sure.
So you see when the Texans asked for Deshaun Watson, they asked for a return of 2 defensive starters, 2 firsts and 2 seconds, right?
Is that what they said?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
Okay.
So do you think this would get it done? Do you think so? Greenlaw, Kinlaw, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. So we can trade Kinlaw while he still has some value, because I don't know if he's ever going to take the next step as a pass rusher. He was a first. I don't
think so. Hold on. What would you rather take if you were Houston? That or Miami's offer of 2 firsts this year, a first next year, and Tua?
I mean, they specifically asked for defensive players, so that's why. If
that's the case,
yeah,
if that's the case. Yeah, I don't think that Kinlaw has a ton of value, but maybe he does. I mean, Tua doesn't have a ton of value. Look, I'm not gonna. It's very clever. Let me think about it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show,
man. Yeah. See ya.
Have a good one, Jeff.
Hey, what's going on, Grant?
How you doing?
Hey, pretty good, bud. So I wanted to get back to the whole Jimmy thing. Looks like that's what you want to talk about. So I had a couple points.
Sure.
Really just in evaluating Jimmy. First off, how good is Jimmy when he's healthy? I mean, let's go back to week 1 versus Arizona last year, right?
Yep.
He's skittish in the pocket.
Yep.
His accuracy, obviously isn't that great.
Can't throw down the field. Can't throw outside the numbers. Can't move.
Exactly. He can't move in the pocket. We already have problems in our offensive line. So that's an issue right there as well. The bigger issue too is it's pretty well established that he's not healthy ever.
That's the biggest issue.
That's the biggest
issue. You can't even
issue.
get to the other stuff because
Exactly. So you're sitting here trying to evaluate a player. Is just Jimmy better than this guy or that guy? We can go down a laundry list of players, but the guy isn't healthy. He can't suit up. He's not on the field.
Right.
So
which makes him doubly expensive because you don't get to save money when he's not playing. You're paying him like $4 million a win or something. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah. So really when I'm evaluating or I'm looking at these different quarterbacks on the market, even Josh Rosen that you've talked about a bunch, really, I mean, evaluate him against the backup on your team. Because that's who's playing is your backup more often than not. So really getting rid of Jimmy is that classic addition to subtraction because you can retain other players. You can do more with your roster with all that move.
You can theoretically get a quarterback who can stay healthy for 16 games and avoid playing your backup quarterback because that's been the problem on the Niners. The backups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I wanted to challenge you a little bit, Grant, on a guy that I don't think you're very high on.
Okay.
And I want to bring up Mac Jones.
Okay. Let's talk about him.
Okay. So I know a lot of people don't think he's a first round talent.
Okay.
But obviously being a quarterback, that's going to push him into the first round.
At
least that's what I think is going to happen.
No question. Yes.
Yeah. The reason why I'd advocate for potentially drafting him at 12, which I will admit is a little rich.
Okay.
But he's got plus arm talent. The guy can push the ball down the field.
Yes,
he can throw the ball outside the numbers. He has a quick release. Also,
I actually think he's a better prospect than Tua was.
I think he is too. I mean, well, look at the numbers.
He doesn't have the injury history. The numbers are just as good. The arm's probably a little bit better. Not as mobile, but how mobile is Tua really?
Really?
Tua's mobile enough to get himself in trouble and get himself hurt. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so he's shown that he can run a system at a high level. Obviously, he had great talent around him, wonderful skill position players, great offensive line. But the guy's playing in the SEC, so he's playing with top-level competition, against top-level competition, week in and week out. And even during practice, he's playing against Alabama every week. So the guy is more pro-ready than any other rookie prospect outside of maybe Trevor Lawrence.
I'm just going to let me argue with you, all right? And
sure. Yeah.
All due respect, because I love this argument. It's a lot of fun. And I'm usually wrong with quarterbacks. So this is more just to talk it through. The way I feel about Mac Jones is I try to it's what I did last year with Tua and Herbert. I didn't like Tua at all last year, at all. And it was all about like, look at how many first round picks he plays with. And look at Herbert. Like he's on a terrible team in a terrible system. If you could imagine Herbert on Alabama and imagine Tua at Oregon, I feel like you could kind of see that Herbert was better. And what I try to do with Mac is like, okay, yeah, he's really good, but put him on Texas A&M. I don't even know who those receivers are at Texas A&M. Would he have half the buzz he has right now? Maybe not. You take a guy like Kellen Mond, who is at Texas A&M and doesn't have a great highlight reel because he doesn't have Najee Harris and Devontae. He doesn't have a great highlight reel. But if you put him on Alabama, would his numbers be worse than Mac Jones? Probably not.
I think they would.
Maybe. Okay. All right. Okay.
But I see your point though, where the system is creating production for the player, and now you're evaluating the player.
Not just the system, but the players too. Yeah. Like when I watch Mac Jones, I'm like, man, this is cool, but is this a Mac Jones highlight or a Devontae Smith highlight? It's tough.
Sure. But the guy
also, what about Kyle Trask? Those are the three SEC quarterbacks that are intriguing. So how do you rank them?
So I would say Mac Jones number 1, 2 Trask, and then Kellen Mond.
Okay.
The reason why I'm not as high on Kyle Trask, because there's a lot of stuff to like.
Yes.
With Kyle Trask, there really is. I think he's underrated. His arm is so limited.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have any zip on his passes. And the concern that I have with Trask coming into the NFL is how is he going to be able to push the ball outside the numbers to the outside hash?
Fair. We see that with Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
See, that's
one of the things I like about Josh Rosen is he doesn't have that limitation. The guy is a candidate.
He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't.
No.
And he actually has a pretty good arm. He has that plus arm that I'm advocating for Mac Jones with, right?
Yes.
So
and that's another thing that I would be another reason I'd be against drafting Mac Jones, really, and Kyle Trask or any quarterback at 12 is I like Josh Rosen. I really like Josh Rosen. Now, if one of these guys, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, was there in round 2, I would think about it. I'll be okay, absolutely. But at 12, like, nah, I like Rosen. I like Rosen.
My concern with going with Rosen, though, obviously, is you got to bring somebody else in the building that could compete with this guy, because having your whole season pin on whether or not Rosen turns around his career is a tremendous
and you don't
risk.
consider
Especially
Jimmy Garoppolo competition, right?
No, well, because here's the because the problem is that you can't have $27 million sitting on your bench.
That's the problem.
It's just not gonna. It's not going to happen.
Right. So it's not even a real competition. The contracts prevent it from happening. Yeah.
It's a competition. Yeah. It's BS. Yeah. So one thing, I know you probably want to get to other people. I'll keep this part brief.
Sure.
I think I'll switch gears. I think Armstead needs to go. They need to find a way to get out of this contract, because that's a bomb, I think, sitting on the roster right now. And here's my case. He's going to make $12.5 million this year, coming into 2021. His cap hit goes up to $20 million in 2022. Right. Can you afford to pay Eric Armstead $20 million in 2022? Absolutely not. And it makes him completely untradeable. Yes. You can't cut him because of all the dead cap that's going to happen. I don't know exactly what the dead cap is, but it's a lot. So
they're going to be in a position in a couple of years where they're paying Jimmy Garoppolo 20-something, Trent Williams 20-something, Eric Armstead 20-something, maybe Fred Warner 20. It's too. You can't. No, you're right.
No,
move him now. Trade him to the Jets, Robert.
You have to
trade him to the Jets now. Jeff, thank you for putting this on the now.
Right, you heard it here first. Yeah, I know Kyle's watching this, so
of course he is, and Salah is too. They both are. Jeff, this was very strong. Man. Thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. All right.
Big Ben Meyerson.
Hey, how are you doing, Grant?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, Grant. I had a good Saturday. I had fun live streaming yesterday, man. I feel like I'm working my way up the world. So
nice, man.
There goes that. But I just wanted to first I want to say I hope your dad's doing better. I heard about that.
Thank you. Let me give a quick little update. He had the procedure. There was so much pressure on the nerves that he has to learn how to walk again. Now, he will, and he's in the process, and he should be home in about a week or so. But 75 years old, you don't just bounce back right away. So he's a little discouraged that it wasn't like that, but he'll be back. So I don't know if we're going to be doing a Cohn Zone on Tuesday. We're going to have to push it back another week. He's in a physical rehabilitation facility, and what sucks about this year with COVID is we can't visit him. So I call him once a day, and anyway, thanks for asking. Keep your thoughts on the big guy. He still ain't home yet. He's still learning how to walk.
Yeah, it's good to hear he'll be okay though.
He'll be okay. He'll be fine. Yeah. He'll be fine. Yep.
Yeah. But after our conversation yesterday, I was thinking a little bit more about not just about the Bucs and the way they assembled their roster, but I kind of looked at the past 5 Super Bowl winners and was kind of trying to go up and down, see where the different similarities were. And I think the biggest thing that jumped out to me is that it really seems like teams will choose certain positions where they know they can spend money and they should spend money, and they spend money on those positions. And then for other spots, they know that they need to draft certain positions or certain position groups, because they know in the long run, having those players at those cheaper prices is ultimately going to really pay off when you're like the Niners were in 2019, when you have Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, all these different players on rookie deals and on these cheaper contracts. So, as this pertains to the Niners, I think the thing that is jumping out to me is that I think, like the last caller was saying, I think we're spending too much on the defensive line. If you look at it, I think the Niners are spending about 27%. And I'm looking over at what I was going through. No Super Bowl winner has spent higher than 23% in the last 5 years on the front four, and it was the Bucs.
Very interesting.
The Bucs.
Wow. So the Bucs kind of set the bar, and the Niners are way past it. They're over-invested on their defensive line.
And what's crazy is the only other team above 20% was that 17 Eagles team. So for the most part, teams really don't even spend that much money. I mean, all the other 3 Super Bowl winners are all spending like 11%, 9%, and 12% on the front.
You can get great D-line play without spending like a third of your cap on it. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. So I think if you can,
get rid of Armstead. My God.
He's going to be hard to trade, but I think it would be well
worth it
in the long run to say, take it as a loss, do what Bill Belichick would do, attach a pick to him and send him out the door.
Yep. Call up Salah, man. You got cap space. You like this guy. He likes you. Come on, man. Help us out.
Yeah. Well, and also something I've been really thinking about with this offseason in particular is that a lot of teams are going to be cutting players. There's going to be a lot of veterans who are available on those cheaper deals. So
JJ Watt's the beginning, just the beginning.
Just the beginning. I mean, what the Saints are going to have to do to gut their roster and just
crazy,
get it underneath the salary cap is going to be crazy. So
you gotta be in a position to like get that. You know what I mean? That's like the pop fly. You need to be there.
Absolutely. So based off that, what do you think the Niners should be targeting? Do you think, because I think, you know, when I hear that, when I think about that, I feel like the Niners should really be targeting some interior offensive linemen.
Any offensive lineman, because the Saints have a loaded offensive line, whether it's the left tackle, Teron Armstead, the right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk, any of the interior guys, Andrews Pete, any of them. Yes, you want a Saints offensive lineman. I think what we're seeing is the Niners are underinvested on their offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, having one great left tackle doesn't give you a great offensive line.
No, it really doesn't, and especially when you're gonna take Mike McGlinchey in the first round and then just not take another offensive lineman because he's fine. Like no, I'm sorry. If he was so great and fine, you would be able to deal him for like a 5th round pick right now. I don't even think you could do that. You know,
no, he has no value. He
has no value.
No.
You know, so I think what the Niners really need to do is figure out what position groups they need to draft because like we keep talking about, the value you get out of that position is crazy. And you know, real
quick. I mean, with the Bucks too, the Bucks aren't as extreme, but they spend on the D line and they draft DBs. So the Niners should do the same thing. They need to draft a corner this year. If they come into this year and draft another D lineman, it's like, come on, man. Like, what? How do you not spend any resources on this position? Any.
It would be crazy to me. And you know, the other thing, of course, when you look at the past 5 teams, no team has spent over like 13% on their quarterback. And if you look at all the other position groups, teams spend so much higher cap percentages on those other positions. So I think realistically, if you're the Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo obviously isn't the answer. It doesn't make any sense. He's injury prone. He's going to play half the games. And even when he is playing, he doesn't have the pop he does, you know, from pre-ACL Jimmy. It's just not the same. So he's not even close to worth that number.
Right. And one more thing before I let you go. The thing that's interesting about the Niners roster construction is people keep looking at it. It's like, it's the same team that went to the Super Bowl. It's not. It's a lot of the same players, but the salary structures are different. When the Niners went to the Super Bowl, Jimmy was expensive. D Ford was expensive.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it. Everyone else was mid-priced or a bargain. Kittle hadn't gotten paid yet. Bosa hadn't gotten paid.
No Warner.
Was cheap. Warner was cheap. Everyone was cheap. Now you're in this position where you got a super expensive quarterback. You're about to have a super expensive left tackle. D Ford's still on the books. Eric Armstead's super expensive. Who am I forgetting? Fred Warner's about to be super expensive. And now 5 guys are taking up like half your cap space. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And, you know, just real quick before I head out, I think just based off that, and if I want to go super, you know, fantasy with my trades, like Madden mode, if I'm the Niners, I'm looking at the Texans situation. If you want to go for Deshaun Watson, I think the way to go for it is to say to yourselves, you know, they just lost JJ Watt. I think one of your last callers was talking about them wanting defensive players. I think I agree with that. I think unless you're in love with the quarterback and Tua, I mean, his value is tanked. But I think unless you're in love with the quarterback and you're making that trade and you're the Texans, why would you go after a quarterback? So I think what the Niners should do is offer Fred Warner, because I think if we're looking in the future and we're projecting into the future, and like I was talking about with the way teams structure their salary, teams really don't spend higher than like 9% on their linebackers. They just don't spend that much money, and you can just draft guys every couple of years like the Niners have. I mean, just look at what the Niners have done in this recent regime. They drafted Fred Warner. They drafted Dre Greenlaw. Did they draft Al Shahir? I think they did.
Yes. Also, I think Fred Warner's excellence is a little overstated. Look. He's very good, but he's not in the backfield a lot. That's not his game. All right. He's a good tackler, not a violent tackler. His value is in coverage mostly. And let's be clear, the 2 guys in the Niners back 7 who have the most difficult assignments is Jimmy Ward and Jaquaski Tart. Those dudes are the ones in man-to-man coverage. Fred Warner's the guy who gets to play with eyes on the quarterback, be a rat defender, or, you know, like his assignments are way easier. So if you could trade him for someone who really thinks that he's the Peyton Manning of linebackers, I'm with you, man.
Oh my
He's
God.
not.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
not.
Well, and
He's
just think
not.
about the Texans in the position they're in. They're going to need that franchise type of player, that guy who's going to sell jerseys, that guy who's going to at least take some of the leverage off of that franchise of trading Deshaun Watson. So, and they lost JJ Watt. So I think you can really structure a smart deal to where you say, okay, you think Fred Warner is worth about 2 first-round picks, which I don't. That seems pretty fair to me. I think if you say, okay, we'll trade you Fred Warner, and then whatever else we need to make up that draft compensation, even doing something smart like saying to yourselves, like, okay, we'll trade you the 21 first for 12th overall. And I know this trade would probably happen post June 1st, but let's just say it's happening right now. I think if you offer them that 21 first, maybe even the 23rd first, and then some other picks, maybe that 22 second, some third round comp, something like that, I think that would be the really, if you're the Niners, you're trying to get the most value out of it, or you're trying to exploit your salary cap, that would be an awesome way to do it.
Also, I think trading Warner makes more sense than Bosa because you have 2 more years of cheap Bosa.
Yes, you do. And you don't have any more years on that value. That is the most valuable asset in the NFL by far.
That's right. And so his value is still high, and it could be higher next year if he's healthy. Warner is, you don't get any more cheap Warner. He is due a payday, and it's going to be uncomfortably large. You thought you didn't want to spend $20 million on a defensive tackle pass rusher, DeForest Buckner. How about spending $20 million on a linebacker who doesn't rush the quarterback? Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. It's a very clever thing. Niner fans, think about it. Would you part with Warner to get Watson? He'd probably be easier to part with than Bosa.
Yeah.
Ben, strong as always. As always.
See you next time, Grant.
All right, see you next time, man. Anoop.
Hey,
what's
Grant,
going
how are
on?
you?
How you doing, man? Thanks for waiting.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to ask, big picture with the organization, are the Niners headed towards a tailspin? They've got so many holes on so many sides of the ball, and they're thinking about trading more draft picks for a quarterback. They can't afford to do that. They need at least 3 good cornerbacks pre-free agency. They're going to need at least 3 good offensive linemen.
Yep.
They're going to need depth at wide receiver, running back. And if they're not happy with their quarterback, I mean, where do you have the capital to make these sorts of moves where you get Super Bowl caliber players or playoff caliber players? Are they headed towards a tailspin over the next few years? That's my question.
Well, if they were to do what you're saying is possible, because what you're saying is they're approaching it like they're a quarterback away from being special, but they're not. 2 years ago, they were.
Exactly.
2 years ago, they were. Now they're not. Now they have all these other issues that, honestly, if we're being honest, bigger issues than quarterback. Offensive line, bigger issue than quarterback. Defensive backfield, bigger issue than quarterback. They don't have anyone signed in the defensive backfield. Would you like to upgrade the quarterback? Yes, it's the most important position, and you have an overpaid mediocrity. But what you have at right tackle is way worse than that. So, if you trade away all your assets to bring in this savior quarterback, then 4 weeks into the season, you're like, oh, he can't fix everything. We weren't a quarterback away. Darn. Yeah, you're right. And then you're like, okay, well, now we're committed to a future of no picks, no cap space. This guy, what are we? Yeah, man, I think that could be worst case scenario.
That really is worst case scenario, and I hope they don't. I hope they realize, anyways, that it's not one guy. It's not one guy that's going to make or break. And who's more talented, Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes? It's Mahomes. He's more talented. There's no question.
Who's more talented, Brady or Rodgers? Rodgers. Brady beat him too.
That's right. Exactly. And it required the whole team.
Yes.
And it required a smart, simple game plan in the playoffs. Nothing fancy. Look at the touchdown pass he threw to Gronkowski. It was just a fake handoff, an RPO to Gronk. Simple. And they got in the end zone. They got to simplify things, whether it's for Jimmy or whoever it is that they end up having in there. And, my gut feeling is it's going to end up being Jimmy.
I think that's what we're figuring out, that the Niners just they can't sell anyone to the team or fan base other than like Deshaun Watson, and it's not going to happen for the reasons we just laid out.
That's right. And, here's the thing. I think there may be Jimmy has a lot of flaws in his game, and I think when he came to the team in 2017, the guy looked like a clone of Brady. And I think there has been definitely major deficiencies in how he's been coached to this point. Whether Kyle's system is not a good fit for him or it's not a good marriage, whatever that is, he needs better coaching. He needs to improve his game. There's no doubt, and there are limitations with him. But Jimmy has an it factor. Jimmy's made it to a Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson hasn't. Sam Darnold hasn't. Matt Stafford in many, many years has not. So he's got an it factor. They've got to leverage that a little bit and build around him. I think that's the only way that they can get back quickly. Otherwise, they're going to get in trouble with the salary cap and all the challenges you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, another year Jimmy Garoppolo coming up. You're right. Thanks a lot for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it. Take care. Real quick, hold on. I'm coming back to you. Hold on. I want to get this question real quick. Grant, couldn't Deshaun Watson just retire if the Texans don't trade him and let another team pick him up, kind of like what Gronk did? No. If that were the case, I think maybe Andrew Luck could do the same thing. No. Andrew Luck, no. Remember, Anthony Davis retired with the Niners. The Niners had his rights. He tried to come back in the league. The Niners still had his rights. No. All right. Good question, though. All right. Sorry about that, man. What's up?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing, Grant?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So basically, I was thinking about Kyle Shanahan and his motives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking that what motive does he have to take a quarterback in the first round or even the second round? Because he's scared of taking on such a big project. Because he's already he's not actually on the hot seat, but he's worried about his power in the organization because he's already had 4 losing seasons.
Yes.
So I think that he would be hesitant to take anyone in the first round, and he would maybe take someone like Kellen Mond later to have as backup QB. He's not going to commit to him. And
that's the best spot, late third round. Yep.
Yeah. And then Josh Rosen, I don't think he's willing to commit an entire season to him. And even if you bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick, maybe you barely make the playoffs, but it's not something that he envisions for a Super Bowl or anything.
Right.
So I think that realistically, there's only 2 options that Niners have at quarterback if they really want to win the Super Bowl and keep their salary cap down, because Deshaun Watson, as much as I like him, I don't think he's a transcendent quarterback that's going to be the one quarterback that makes 18% of the cap and still win the Super Bowl, right? He's not going to be that guy. Yeah, he won 4 games.
Couldn't get it done. Yeah, man, I think there's something there. What is it about Watson? Real quick. What is it about him? Why? I don't know what it is. Do you know?
I think Watson, he's very talented, but I don't think he's the kind of player that can really elevate his entire team. He's not.
Doesn't seem to be. Yep.
If the defense is terrible and the O-line's mediocre, it's not enough.
He's not that Brady level leader, at least not yet. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the 2 quarterbacks that I do see that we have a chance with is I know it sounds suspect, but Derek Carr and Matt Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Those two quarterbacks the salary cap wouldn't be that much because the other team takes away the prorated bonus, and then just those 2 quarterbacks I think are good enough to take the Niners to the Super Bowl.
Here's the thing about Derek Carr. I'm not a Raider fan, but I grew up in Oakland. And a lot of my friends from childhood are big Raider fans, and I still am in contact with a bunch of them, and they'll tell you about Derek Carr. They'll be like, look, man, I mean, he's a little weird, but he's never really had good defenses in his career. And the few times he's had good defenses, he's won. So if you put him on, example, his defense in Oakland on the Raiders this year was worse than the Texans defense, gave up more points. He won 8 games somehow. Yeah. You put him on this team with a top 5 defense, chances are he wins 12 games and stays healthy.
Yeah.
So
and he's a top 15 quarterback in my opinion. That's
no question.
That's if you have a very strong defense, which the Niners do have, I think next year. And the O-line, it's bad, but we have the weapons to complement it. But I think that's enough to maybe take them to the Super Bowl. And then
if they could get Derek Carr, that would be really cool. I would like that. That's a really interesting move. It shouldn't be too expensive. He's in any way, and he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, do that, Niners.
Yeah, and I do think John Gruden's worse than him as a QB. I'm worse than him as a coach than he is a quarterback. So I do think that he would get a huge upgrade at coach. And he'd actually have the freedom to throw the ball downfield because John Gruden is so limiting. he moved off to like Marcus Mariota's like speed and run skill over his like passing game. So I do think that Derek Carr would get a lot better with the Niners. So I think those two are the best quarterbacks.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan a direct message and tell them that I'm going to show this clip, and we'll see what we can do. And if this isn't convince them, then we'll come back tomorrow and try it again, man. Because I really like this idea. People haven't talked about Derek Carr enough. Clearly, the Raiders don't want him. I think he's available. If the Niners could get him, why not? Good stuff, dude.
And he's cheap.
That's what I'm saying. He's there. I like him, man. Good stuff, man.
Thank you, man.
All right. Eric, you're after Gunsy. What's up, Gunsy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing? Good.
I'm doing well, man. Can you hear me? I don't have headphones.
I can hear you just great. Yeah.
All right, perfect, dude. Yeah. So everyone's talking about quarterback and stuff like that, obviously. I'm from Southern California, or at least I went to college in Southern California. So, I'm a little.
Where'd you go?
Little bit of a Sam Darnold fan.
Oh, you went to USC? Oh, Chapman. Cool.
Baby.
Nice.
Panthers. Hey. But everyone's obviously talking about the QB position. I've always been saying since about when did Jimmy hurt his ankle? October, yeah. October.
September, week 2.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I have two big issues with Jimmy. I love Jimmy, but like I have two big issues with him. I'm sure everyone does. Can't stay on the field. And obviously he's not the most talented guy out there, but he gets it done.
Sure.
So for me, the quarterback upgrade just means has to be a little more talented. You know what I mean? Because I feel like
and a little more durable.
Well, obviously, yeah, a little more durable. I feel like Kyle is such like a special coach and a special talent that he can elevate talent.
Sure.
To a certain extent.
Look what you with Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Look what you with Matt Ryan.
Yeah. Why I think I'm so high on Sam Darnold is because he has shown me, like, if you look up, you've said this, if you look up his worst throws, you like roll your eyes and you're just like, what the hell, man?
You look at his best throws, they're like,
but yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I see. You just see like the best throws, and you're just thinking like, okay, he had Adam Gase, he had this terrible O-line.
Yeah.
He's coming out of USC, which when he was there, they were
very
kind of bottom.
Yeah.
Kind of bottom. Yeah. What, Juju? Yeah, Juju.
Juju and Ronald Jones.
Yeah. So,
in 2016, and then nothing in 17.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm looking at it as like, okay, I've been watching this guy since USC. What he's been able to put out with just like what he's been given has given me enough of an eye test to be like, okay, if he's with Kyle, what would that look like? If you look on Niner Twitter, it's pretty toxic right now at the QB position. But, most things you see is more like Jimmy can't get it done. There's 10 times the talent out there. And, then people are like, well, Sam Darnold can't get it done, and I'm thinking like, dude, if he's got the talent, and I don't think trading for Deshaun Watson is like the end all be all, because like if we get Deshaun, we have to give up. I think we have to give up Bosa. I don't think.
I agree.
I don't think Texans
just for starters. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when people are like, oh, we can give away Kinlaw and Greenlaw. I'm like, no, dude. Like,
no.
They're looking at us and they're saying like,
there's 5 players. There's 5 players interested in Bosa, Warner, Samuel, Ayuk, Kittle. Those are the 5 players that teams would want.
Hell, if I'm Texans though, I'm looking at Bosa and I'm seeing that and I'm just like, yeah, that's the one I want. And I have Deshaun, so you're not getting him unless you give me that.
Period.
You know what I mean? So it's
Let me ask you real quick though. Hold on, because I went to UCLA and I'm a Rosen guy, and so from my question to you is, I'm not knocking Darnold, but
of course
the Niners already have Rosen. Is Darnold that much more intriguing that you would give up on Rosen and spend assets for a third? That's the question. What do you trade for Darnold?
I mean, you hear it all in the media that there's nothing the Jets can do or say, kind of like in our position with Jimmy. There's nothing the Jets or us can do or say about our quarterbacks to be like, guys, there's a lot of value here. Trust me, because of the way that our actions have just like
similar. Yeah. So trade a third. Could you get him for less?
No, trade a third. Give Saleh Jimmy, who I'm sure
that comp pick that Saleh gave you. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, dude. Like here's your value, and then here's your old quarterback, and maybe if it really comes down to it, a fifth. Like if it really comes down to it, which I really doubt. You know what I mean? But like you get
final question. Mm-hmm. If you make this trade for Sam Darnold, third for Darnold, do you cut Jimmy at that point, or do you keep him and go with both?
So Jimmy's not included in the trade.
I don't think Jimmy. Maybe. Hey, if the Jets want him, If the Jets want him, pack his bags for him.
At this point, dude, I used to be such a Jimmy guy, but at this point, man, like you can't be that injured. You just can't be that injured. Like you can't, man. Like I had to quit sports in college because I got injured. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. At a certain point, your body's telling you what to do.
Yeah, dude. Like I can't even play basketball with my knee anymore. So like at some point, you got to have a guy who can, make something happen with his legs because that's just where it's going. And I think Rosen and Sam Darnold QB competition I'd pay to see that.
I would pay to see that too.
I would pay to see that.
All right, man. Good stuff, Benzie. Yeah, for sure. Have a good one.
You too.
What's up?
What's up, Grant?
What's up, Eric? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. And I wanted to let you know, I went back and I watched Josh Rosen's first start with the Dolphins, right? You broke down the second start against the Chargers.
The one good start he had with the Dolphins. The other,
you know what? Let me tell you about this week 3 start. It was against the Cowboys. He threw for 200 yards, no TDs and no picks. But this was so misleading. He played better. 7 drops. There were
That's the thing about that team, man. That
and
team was
count it.
awful. Yeah, man.
7 drops. Preston Williams couldn't catch a ball. Kenyon Drake was dropping balls. And we're talking a touchdown, a 20-yard dimer in the bucket, and third down drops. I mean, they were rough. He drove them all the way down, got him to the 5-yard line. They went run, field goal. So it's like he didn't even get a chance. I'm telling you that he played better in that game than the box score will say. So you might be onto something.
I think I'm onto something. I'm not saying like make him the starter. I'm just saying, hey, like, can he get a shot to compete? Can he just get a chance? Can he get some first team reps? Because I'm got a slight suspicion that he's going to do something with it, unless he doesn't care. But honestly, the one I wonder about who cares on the team is really the starter, not the backup. But what do you think about Rosen? Do you think that there's anything there?
I do. There's something, for the $27 million gap between Jimmy and Rosen. I think the talent level is a lot closer.
Okay, so we're on the same page with Rosen. Given that, how do you handle the quarterback situation this offseason if you were Lynch? What would you want to do? How would you do it?
I want Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, and that kind of leads to the meat of my call, which was quarterback comps.
Okay.
I got 6 guys that I've comped, and I want to hear your reaction. That's what I'm saying. I want to hear your reaction to my comps. Trevor Lawrence, I went John Elway. We're swinging big. He's got
I wouldn't do that. Do that. Josh Allen is John Elway to me. Josh Allen is John Elway 2.0. When I see Trevor Lawrence, I don't see someone that physically imposing who can run over defensive players like that. But I'm not. I mean, you might be right. I look at. I want to say more like Ryan Tannehill. Top 10 quarterback, maybe better than Tannehill, but a guy who can run, a very good athlete. But,
yeah, I see that. No, I see that. Yeah, they're big. They're both 6'5".
Yep.
Next one, Zach Wilson. I got Aaron Rodgers with some Jake Plummer tendencies. And I couldn't flat out call him Aaron Rodgers, but that's why I had to include the Jake Plummer tendencies, because Plummer was good on the move, rolling outside the pocket.
He was. Dude, when I watch Zach Wilson, all I see is Johnny Manziel, man. I can't not see Johnny Manziel.
God.
He's such a good runner. He's really, really quick.
He is.
And he's, Johnny Manziel had a little bit of he had a strong arm. He's a bit of a gunslinger. Everything is, I can do whatever I want. It's a lot of ad-lib stuff because of where I'm playing and whatever the circumstances are. Maybe he's going to be better than, obviously we never got to see what Johnny Manziel was really going to be because
I like
his
Johnny
demons
coming out too.
Right. So this is a guy it's like Johnny Manziel without the substance abuse issues. So what is that? That might be a good quarterback. I don't know. But when I watch him play, there's a lot of Manziel there, man. A lot of it.
Justin Fields. I like this one. Finesse Newton. He's Cam, but I think he's a little more accurate, and he's not that powerful of a Cam will run you over.
Yeah. I think that's a good comp.
Fields
I think it's a good comp. I think it's a good
comp. Yeah. All right. Trey Lance, who I know you're not that big of a fan of. I'm going Donovan McNabb, but with a sprinkle of Cordell Stewart because he's got that run first mentality. But
Cordell Stewart's actually, I'm cool with that. But I see like he's such Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill. I mean, hell
All
of an
right.
athlete could develop into it, but not yet, man. Like, he's Taysom Hill.
No. Trey Lance definitely needs time to develop.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle Trask, I'm going Andrew Luck after shoulder surgery. Because the arm just isn't there like prime coming out of Stanford Luck, but after Luck had the arm surgery,
I'm not arguing.
Lost a little zip.
I'm not arguing with that. I like that. That's cool.
Something like
cool.
that. Something like that.
Because he's big like Ben Roethlisberger, but he doesn't have that arm. He doesn't.
No.
So that's a good one. I like that. That's really good.
He maneuvers the pie. I love how Trask maneuvers the pocket though.
Me too. That's the best thing he does. Yep.
Yeah. Mac Jones, he's a bigger Kirk Cousins. And that's why I think Shanahan might like this guy, Mac Jones.
Kirk Cousins. Wow. Look, I haven't watched enough Mac Jones film yet to say you're wrong. When I look at him, I'm like, Matt Barkley. But maybe that's just not. I don't know. Let me watch some more, and I'll get back to you on that. Wow.
You know what? Cousins? There's so much talent. There's so much talent around him that it's almost a little makes it harder to evaluate, right? Like
everyone's a first round pick.
Exactly.
Every offensive lineman, every wide receiver, every running back. It's like, all right, well, you better put up numbers, man. You better. I don't care. But
all right, the last two guys, Kellen Mond, Baby Cap. He's Baby Cap. He's not as fast. He doesn't have as strong as an arm. He might actually have a little bit more up top, though, in terms of decision making. But he's Baby Cap.
I agree. And that's to me, that's an intriguing thing. I mean, that's a guy that you could get in round 2 or round 3. Kaepernick had a lot of success before he got paid. That, to me, I think you could win with Kellen Mond on a rookie contract. He's experienced. He's mobile. The experience in the SEC makes him interesting. I mean, he's not necessarily a project. He probably could hit the ground running. I don't know what his upside is, but
I wouldn't be that excited though if we got Mond.
No, he's a day 2 guy, but he probably has more upside than the other day 2 guys because of the legs. Baby Cap is a good comp. I like that one.
He's got some tools.
Yes.
Last one I'm going to give you, Jamie Newman. I almost wanted to go Jamarcus Russell. I'm out on Newman. But I ended up going with David Garrard.
Why?
Just with the mobility and the size, just kind of the way. I have
a feeling David Garrard's going to start a lot more games than Jamie Newman will in the NFL.
Yeah,
Jamie Newman reminds me of some guy who's going to wash out.
Okay, we'll go back to Jamarcus then. I'll stick with
something
Jamarcus
like that.
Russell.
And it's not going to be because of the lean or anything like that. I just don't think he's got a feel for how to play the position. Good athlete, but he stands still, and then I don't know, not particularly accurate.
He missed a lot of throws by 10 yards. When I was watching, he was missing some deep throws by a wide margin.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I got for you, big dog. I'm gonna catch you next time.
All right, Eric. We got to find a time to just do one me and you soon.
Hey, you inspired me to start a YouTube channel.
Hey!
I broke down Jimmy's week 1 performance against the Cardinals.
Yes.
And that's already up. You could find it by searching like Jimmy G week 1 evaluation if anyone
drop
that.
the link to your YouTube in this chat section. Everyone subscribe to Eric because Eric, I learned from Eric. Eric knows what he's talking about. I'm going to subscribe to that as well. Eric, you're the man. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I got about 5 minutes left. So let's try to get as many people in as possible in the next 5 minutes. Matthew, what's up?
Hey there, Grant. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So I'm actually from the Laguna Beach area.
Oh, nice.
I grew up in Marin County. I lived there for about 5 years, and then I've been down here in SoCal for about 10 years.
Did you go to school down here? How'd you migrate?
Yeah, so family's just down in the area.
Cool.
So actually, I think we look at what the Week 16 performance against the Cardinals of CJ Beathard. And actually, I think CJ Beathard might be turning into what Kyle had originally hoped. I think, he played a decent game. I think he might be better than we think.
You're scaring me.
I don't know.
Matthew, where are you going with this? Are you saying the Niners going to re-sign CJ? You're scaring me.
Maybe.
I don't think people are ready to hear this.
I think Josh Rosen is a lot better than CJ Beathard. But I think CJ Beathard might have something just based off of the Week 16 performance against the Cardinals. And that's about it. I don't know. It's a little crazy. I know.
No.
Fans.
I'm not. I disagree, but I think I've just seen too much CJ Beathard to ever change my mind at this point. I've seen a lot of him at camp and practice, and I think I've just written him off. You're more open-minded, and I bless you for that. Bless you for that. And I think what's important here is that if you see it that way, then I guarantee Kyle sees it that way too. So what's going to happen is Kyle's going to come to John and be like, hey, John, let's re-sign CJ. And John's going to be like, no, over my dead body. And there could be this fight over who's the backup, Rosen or CJ. Oh, I don't know, man.
Well,
maybe they bring back CJ. I don't know. Perhaps.
I think either way, Jimmy Garoppolo has to go. I think there's no two ways about it. Jimmy G got to go. He's
got to go.
He's 20 million? 20 million next year?
Oh, no. 20, almost 27 million, man.
That's nuts. That is seriously nuts.
And he's 29.
And he's not playing that well. I mean, he's injured. And what that ankle sprain is supposedly worse than originally thought. You know, I like Sam Darnold. I think Deshaun Watson is just too much. You know, in terms of longevity and long-term success, I think the 49ers need to either trade for a quarterback who isn't as good as Deshaun Watson, but still enough. Mm-hmm. You know, I think, you know, like you said, on the defensive side, right? Warner needs a payday. Eric Armstead is just so expensive.
Yep.
I think, you know, you need to go for somebody like, Sam Darnold, so that you have that extra draft capital so that when they do become expensive, you can replace them in the future. You know?
And the thing about Jimmy Garoppolo, like coming back to the beginning of the video today, Peter King saying like, he's really, really good. It's just the injuries. No, that is revisionist history. Let's go back to last year. He stunk against the Vikings in the playoffs. 8 pass attempts in the NFC Championship game. Crumbled in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. Looked lost week 1 against the Cardinals. That's 4 games in a row where he really, I felt, got exposed. And then he got hurt. And now the Niners are trying to make the narrative like, well, when he's healthy, he's good. I don't think so. I mean, maybe 2 years ago, but I think the league has really caught up to him whether or not he's healthy.
Well, I think you know, whenever Jimmy Garoppolo throws a pass, you know, I just get so nervous because I'm a diehard 49er fan.
Yeah.
And I mean,
where's the ball going?
I mean, there was that pass against the Vikings to Kendrick Bourne that was a complete duck.
Yeah.
And somehow, like, it was a miracle that was ever caught.
Right. And if you remember back in 2017 when he played the Titans, there were throws like that to Marquise Goodwin that like kind of built up the Jimmy Garoppolo legacy. Like, oh, he's just got great luck. No, he just hasn't played a lot. Those plays are going to even out.
But I think Kirk Cousins might be another one. I think he's a more durable version of Jimmy Garoppolo who, you know, has a decent arm. You know, he can make those throws outside the numbers. You don't get absolutely freaked out when there's a pass attempt, you know?
Yeah. No, he's a better quarterback than Jimmy. I'm with you on that.
Easily,
Easily. Hey, thanks for coming on, man.
Good one. See you later.
Take care. Paul, are you there?
Yep.
What's up?
You catch me out again. It's Toast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Toast. What's up?
That's all right. It's more just it's not a question I'm expecting you to answer. And it's really come up on your show where you're saying about the California state income tax having to be basically applied into the contracts. Someone can correct me if my maths is wrong, but I'm figuring for every million you pay a player, well, you've got to throw in an extra 100K and change just to make up for the lost tax that they're going to lose. If you put that over 180 million cap, you're spending about 20 million on non-salary.
Right? To the government of California, yes.
Yeah. But essentially, you still have to pay that to the player so they can pay off their tax to make. So if they get an offer of 10 million from Dallas or 10 million from the 49ers, to make that, you know, equatable on what they're going to have to spend. Yes. So we essentially pay what we could have given to Buckner last year just in tax. Right. So there's money we have to throw at players additionally, which we wouldn't have to do.
It's a tremendous competitive disadvantage.
The NFL should have to look at.
No question. It's a tremendous competitive disadvantage. And it almost feels like the Raiders, when they were considering, should we stay in Oakland or move to Vegas? It was like, well, in Vegas, we have this huge competitive advantage signing free agents. Why we stay in Oakland, where no players want to live, and where they can't even afford to stay? I mean, the thing about, I don't think Niner fans understand is these players do not buy property in California. They rent, and then when the season's over, they go back where they're from and buy mansions as opposed to buying a nice house in Silicon Valley. No, they go home and live like kings.
But it's more a point of the fact that the 49ers have to, like you say, you have to pay a player
a premium.
Well, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, 13%.
If
An
you
extra
have
13%.
11 million instead of
Yeah.
10 million to make them want to come to the 49ers.
Right.
But like I said, over the salary, as that equates, we burn 20 million on a play that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, in the next CBA, that they really need to work that out, because these the local state income tax shouldn't affect any of the team. They should be all on an equal playing field with what they pay.
But we would have to be having a conversation about someone like Trent Williams. He would be costing technically 5 million.
Yeah, because you think about it, if the Niners are competing to sign Trent Williams with a team that is in a tax-free state, like a Texas team, a Washington team, a Vegas, the Raiders, a Florida team, you're out of luck. Sorry. Unless Trent Williams is dying to come back and sees you as a Super Bowl champion contender, you're out of luck. Sorry.
Yeah. But I was just leaving you that to fix for next week.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Toast. And I'll remember to call you Toast next time.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Everett says, I came late because I'm working. OT, did you drop any deets on your Valentine's Day plans for your queen? I need to start. She's probably coming back soon. I'm going to take 2 more calls, and then it's Valentine's Day. We are at a really nice hotel, and nothing is really open in the world right now. So we're going to probably spend a lot of time out by the cabana, hanging out right down there. And then we'll probably go for a little walk. We have some romantic. We're back where we went. I don't want to say where we are, but we're back where we met each other. And we're going to do a lot of reminiscing in places we used to be 15 years ago, which is always fun. And then we have dinner reservations back here at the hotel tonight. So you probably know exactly where I am, but yeah, we're going to have fun. And last night we went out for dinner, took her out for dinner last night, took her out for dinner the night before. I'm doing the best I can to be a good husband while also working and paying for the trip. Niners brass should emphasize on having the best team, not the best quarterback. Yup, agree. Jimmy Garoppolo will be the most mobile quarterback in the NFL next year when Trent Williams signs elsewhere. Hey, man, how you doing? Real quick, what's up on your mind? If you don't mind, I got to go through these pretty quick.
Sorry,
Sure. I got time for one quick question.
Yeah, that's
on your mind.
understandable. It was dropped.
Sure.
I was dropped three. I was dropped two
okay.
3 times, so I apologize for being on this late.
No, you're good. What's on? What's on your mind?
So I have a couple of things that I want to ask you what you think.
Just ask me one. Just pick the best one.
Okay.
If that's okay. All right. Sure.
Well,
sure.
Then I'll put away the Rosen one question aside for next week. My problem is that with Watson that people don't seem to understand. My problem is that I personally think that it's a bad idea, not just because of the draft capital or what we're going to give to pay for him, but I personally think that he's a diva. And if you put those two crazy personalities with Kyle Shanahan, it's not. I'm not denying that he's talented, but I think Deshaun Watson, we're going to give up so much that for the next couple of seasons, we're not going to be able to build around him because we put up all this capital and it's just going to
real quick. Let me react to what you're saying. I think I don't know if he's a diva, but I don't know.
Well, no.
Hold on, real quick. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. Hold on. He might be a diva. Right. I think he definitely has diva tendencies. And what's most important is not what we think of him, but what does Kyle think of him? And he's super talented quarterback, But Kyle likes quarterbacks who say yes sir, no sir. Kyle likes the backup quarterback grinder type. And I just don't know that there might be a power struggle between Watson and Kyle if they were to be in the same
That's
team.
exactly what I'm trying to say. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Good call.
Because I personally believe that the reason why Rosen is the perfect person is because he has that chip on his shoulder. Watson, he's been a starter. He's won titles, and Rosen has never had that chance. And what I'm saying is that Watson is, I think, is just exactly what you just said. He may.
I just don't think he'd be a good. He may not be a good mix with Kyle.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that the mentality and personally, I don't even think their personalities. I think they're gonna have personality clashes.
Yeah,
because Watson's gonna say, "Hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. Hey, this is the best thing." Kyle is gonna. Say
it's my team. I make the call.
Yeah, he's
Deshaun's going to say, yeah. Eric, I got to run. This was a very good call. And I don't think anyone's brought up the potential personality clashes between Kyle and Deshaun. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, all right? Have a good one. Good stuff. Hey, Dave, thanks for waiting, man. The last dude in line. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm going to finish with you today. So what's on your mind?
All right, for sure. Thanks a lot.
Of course.
Appreciate you having me on. But just one more thing. I'm trying to make this. I know it's like the end of the day and everything, but so this is regarding the whole Deshaun Watson thing too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like they're gonna, they didn't go all out on Matthew Stafford and everything. Mm-hmm. So, which was smart in my belief. Although I do think he would be an upgrade over Jimmy if that was the case, but I feel like that would be kind of the mother of all trades if they were going to go hard on on a quarterback. Like they're going to go all in on Watson. I think they're just being patiently waiting on the right time to kind of
make their move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like based on all the reports that I've been hearing and everything, obviously Texans aren't willing to trade him supposedly at this point, but I feel like
there will become a point of no return, right?
Yeah,
whether it's training camp.
The reports of Miami and SF being his top. Obviously there's some interest. I mean, why wouldn't there be interest? I mean, I feel like the quarterback that's the most important position, right? So I feel like the Niners, like they're gonna eventually, they're just waiting for the right time to strike. When they make him available, then they can kind of move on from Jimmy in that case.
Because he's not available right now is basically what the league is learning. Like. Basically, that they're looking at the Texans as like a wounded animal. It's like, okay, you're not dead yet, but we're just gonna chill right over here and wait. And it's maybe a day or two. You're bleeding, man. You're bleeding. You're losing a lot of blood, man.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know, like, also I know it'll take some significant kind of either draft capital or mix of players and stuff like that, which for the Texans obviously would be justifiable to ask for those things, but I feel like they're gonna make a move like in the coming if anything in coming months. But also that kind of leads to my other point, like even if we were to lose those players say in a trade, like our star players, young players, and do you think it would kind of have like that Tom Brady effect where it's like you could get actually quality players in free agent market or whatnot to come in?
Yeah, I think a lot of young football players want to play with Deshaun Watson. The only question is, do you have the cap space to figure it out? But yeah, absolutely. He has that kind of draw like Stephen Curry does in the NFL. I mean, NBA, yes.
Yeah, because I think like, at that point, like, even though you would lose like some players in that sense, like I feel like you could definitely like, I'm sure he's cool with like other players too around the league. Definitely get people to come in even on a cheap deal. Even if
maybe a guy like Trent Williams would take a little bit less to play with Deshaun Watson as opposed to Jimmy G, because no one's taking that.
Yeah, exactly.
No. What did I want to say to you real quick? There was something I wanted to say. Oh, we were talking yesterday, like how is Deshaun going to get himself out of Houston? Like, is he going to go and play terribly? I think it's possible. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but he could just hold out at camp, hold out of the season, and then this trade happens sometime before the trade deadline in November. And again, the Niners, like if they bring back Jimmy, then they're they're always in a position to make that move. They're not committed to Matt Stafford. They haven't committed themselves to Kirk Cousins. We'll stick with Jimmy until Watson becomes available, and then we'll make our move, and we won't lose our patience the way the Rams did.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like they're not gonna, because obviously he's supposed to be the face of the franchise as of now, right, Jimmy?
Right.
But
right.
They're not gonna move on from him until you're not gonna sell it. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, no offense to Rosen, but not gonna be like, oh yeah, Rosen's gonna be our,
he's our starter. No.
Yeah, so
Rosen would have to compete.
Yeah, go all in for it. Yeah, it's got to be Watts. I feel like they're just being patiently waiting.
Yeah.
Until he's readily available. Then they'll make their move to get Watts.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you try to build up Jimmy Garoppolo's value if possible. We really like Jimmy because there's a possibility he's going to be your starter for a month, 2 months, something like that.
Exactly.
All right, Dave. Thank you so much. I'm going to go be a good husband for the rest of the day.
All right, for sure. Hey, thanks. Have a good vacation.
Yeah, you too, man. I'll be back in the Bay tomorrow. Take care.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on today. I appreciate it. We should all go be good boyfriends and husbands and stop talking about football on Valentine's. All right, guys. I'm out. I'll be back tomorrow with Vish. Mondays with Vish tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned.